You can't think your way to positive. But what I did instead was this. So oftentimes when people are talking about positive thinking, we're talking about an overwrite of programming. You consist of a lot of energy. This world is atomic. Everything is energetic. You are atoms. You hold energy. Positive thinking in the sense that, oh, you have to think positive. You have to be optimistic is a way to try to be louder than the program. Say if one has the program that identifies with being a victim, and you're in a situation where you actually can be in leadership, the program will come in and begin talking to you in order to remind you of who you are. At the core, you know that you are an amazing, brilliant being that has unlimited potential in this reality. So when these dissonant programs come in and these dissonant energy patterns come in, we know subconsciously that it's not right, and we know that something is off. We have a wave cycle here. This is supposed to be an even wave cycle. As you can see, I drew it a little uneven, but we're going to pretend it's even. These sides don't mean that it is good or bad. If you're thinking very negatively on this side of the wave, and then trying to override that with a positive wave, you get something that is called phase cancellation. And what that means is that we can just do an inverted version of this, right? So that means that you have that there, you have that there, and here in a graph, this wave would look like this when it comes out. And when waves look like this, because you're atomic again and everything is energy and everything oscillates and everything spins, everything is constantly creating wave patterns. When we get a wave pattern that looks like this, we can't generate anything. It doesn't create anything. It actually nulls the whole pattern. Sure, you are balancing out the thought, but you're actually not moving yourself forward. And if you're not moving yourself forward, that means that the thought is going to come back up again. And that's also another thing that I'm seeing with patterns like this. We have you here, or we have somebody here. They have a thought pattern. This is another thing you can do also. If you have very strong negative thinking in instances when you're performing, I want you to begin noticing where in your field are these patterns coming up. Often you're going to notice that they're coming up here or on this side of the body. They're going to come up on the left or right side of the body. Just by noticing that they're coming up on the left or right side of the body, it means that the pattern is not yours. Your patterns always arise from within and radiates out. If the pattern is hanging out like in one of your spheres, that means that it's an incoming pattern and it's actually not yours. This is a coach. He's known for Serena Williams. He got her up to a bunch of Wimbledons. He's known for a bunch of people.
Comfort in being negative. That's very good what you say, and not many people can say that. That's really congratulations to be able to express.
First thing I want to say that this guy is really brilliant in the sense that he's been able to unlock, from what I'm seeing, certain capacities and abilities related to tennis.
That's why you do it. But the problem when you do that, at the end, you're not happy with the results.
Yeah, but at that time, it's so comfortable to say something negative to yourself. It's better than control.
Yeah. And did you try doing something positive when you think something negative?
When you layer it with a slight positive thinking in this way, it actually is not solving her issue.
It depends. Sometimes if I'm tired to do this, and I just don't control. But if I still a bit positive, and I would put myself back.
You have to have a strategy for the bad days. When this starts, what do I do?
When I look into her, she actually has a pattern that is hanging out on, so she's sitting down right now. So that would be her. It would hang out on her right side. I see it here from where she's sitting now. So she has a pattern that hangs out on this side. And that pattern is a pattern that is based in critique from others. Basically, the whole concept of discipline, control, very strict in order to accomplish a result. There are some truths to how that functions. I have mentioned it before that discipline is more about resonance and building resonance, but you can't optimize that resonance if it's not in the right frequency. She has managed to accomplish what she has by using this pattern, and using this pattern as a way to inflict suffering and pain onto herself. And that's why when she is not performing well, she steps into this pattern in order to push herself to become better when she's playing. The thing with this is that you can never use positive thinking in order to shift that. One of your main tools is that you need to learn how to process your emotions and failures and mistakes and also successes. The better you become at processing emotions, feelings, and all of that, the quicker you can convert that to energy that you can use to your own advantage, to your benefit, in order to propel yourself forward in the situation. If you are not processing properly in a situation, which we've seen with many people, they can push it down, they push it away, it will come back and bite you. It will come back and bite you 10, 20 years down the line. It will come back and bite you when the pressure really, really amps up and you can't, you have to be so solid and stable. She needs to remove that pattern. Clearly, and that's not a hard thing to do. That can be done very fast. Then the recommendation for her would be to locate in her body where that actual inner power, the inner strength of herself lies. As you can see, she is very energetically powerful. She runs a lot of wealth frequencies actually, and abundance frequencies. So for her, it's just tapping into herself and really exploring and blossoming that out. Then also actually becoming present. You are rock solid in presence. Presence is one of the major keys that we really have to tap into in this reality, because it allows you to do other things, other functions that the body, the superhuman capacity of you, can do. In this kind of situation, saying to somebody, hey, you just need to think positive. So basically what he's saying to her spiritually, or energetically, I should say. And again, this is not anything about him, but this is what I'm seeing spiritually. So she has this here. What he is saying, hey, you just need to think positive, so you can put a layer here in front of this negative connotation so that this pattern doesn't affect you. It's impossible to start building filters like this inside of the energy system. At the moment, this is one of the ways that she actually generates success. Even Novak Djokovic talks about this. You can train mental strength, right? You can train the mind, but it's really about, I'm in a situation, something is happening. How do I not let this disrupt myself from who I am and distract me from what I want to create? How do I come into such precision, such presence, such alignment that I can hear myself extremely clearly? I can feel the synchronicity of the universe. I can feel in my body what my inner voice, what my timeless intelligence, my creative intelligence is indicating to me is the next step. People are really profoundly good with their bodies. They know exactly how to tap into this, and they expect there to be mistakes and failures at times because they have gone through the whole process of coming to the point where they're at. It's not a surprise that things can happen. It's not a surprise that they have to deal with things. What is a surprise is if you're in that situation and you don't have tools to deal with it. So let's talk about some of the tools. The reason why I think meditation is such a key component, and was some of the things that I really realized when I was coming up as an artist and as a creative, because creatives don't really, there are some creatives that talk about meditation and energy and stuff, but they don't really use it on the way up necessarily, right? So when you're coming, I used it because I was actually taught visualization, became very interested in mindset and all of that because my dad played ice hockey at a very high level. So he would teach us how to visualize results in sports before we went to bed. This is one of the things that we would discuss in our family. And I especially overheard him speaking with my brother, who was also playing ice hockey, a lot about this. So I picked that up. And then I used that when I went into music and into the music industry. I realized that people are not fortifying their minds. They're not using the full capacity of who you are. If you are a creative, you are working with the imaginary state 90%. So where does a song come from? Where does a painting come from? Where does the knowing of a book come from? Where does all of this come from? And if you are not spending time optimizing it, you're losing out. So meditation is a way to optimize your mind. It's a way to optimize your mindset, to control the energy of your body, to control yourself in various situations that you will be under when you move up in the professional levels and become on your way to become a master in the field that you have chosen. So that's what it is. The better you become at regulating your energy, your mind, the more harmonious your body will be, and the more harmoniously it will follow you and trust you, because it won't feel fear or intimidation. Not only that, there are the cymatic patterns, and I'll throw up a photo of that. There are cymatic patterns of the words that we carry, the words that we say, the thoughts that we hold also hold a cymatic pattern. So all of these waves in the energetic field that we exist in, they are always signaling to everything and everybody else about the intent of what we want to create in this reality. So if you want to make it easy for yourself, I suggest that you find a way to meditate. Now, you don't have to sit still and meditate like a Tibetan monk. Meditation is a form, a presence state awareness that you hold in you at all times. Everybody can meditate. It's not complicated. You just need to find the way that you meditate. All you need to do is allocate time where you can be present, where nothing else exists but you. There is nothing else that you need to do. There's nothing more of importance. And then in those states, once you locate where that is, you start mastering the breath patterns, you start observing your body, observe the functions of you and what it means to be you. Get to know the energy of yourself, because the better you know the energy of yourself, the better you know your breath patterns, as I spoke about in the previous video, the more you can handle pressure. When you are wanting to become better at something, and this includes a love relationship, you have to know how to navigate your own energy so you are not triggered and puppeted by external energies. This is to be in control. This is to master the mindset of the complete body. So that's the first thing. Okay, the second thing that I really want you to realize is that mistakes and miscalculations happen, and it's all right. If you are smart about it, you will tune this at the beginning stage so you don't have to deal with it when you begin powering more energy and you are at higher professional levels or in more intense experiences. You know who you are, and therefore you won't fall into the trap, and you can actually in those cases use that energy in order to create more momentum. And as a master, you also encounter different kinds of issues because they're running energy at such high speeds. If you're running energy at those high speeds, hopefully you worked all the kinks out before you got to that. But if not, then you really have to deal with it. We're going to do another de-stress meditation at OsteoStrong. We're doing it the 18th. I'd love to see you there if you're in New York. We're doing it on the Upper West Side. We're collaborating with OsteoStrong Upper West to provide these de-stress meditations, and they have been amazing so far. So fun with everybody who's coming out. So really big thank you for that. And then we're doing the last one on the 18th. I would love to see you there, and I will leave information in the description below. If this video was of value to you, I would love if you can help me and help Generation Watts by subscribing and sharing it with somebody. This helps us push out the content. It helps us spread the word about Generation Watts and what we're doing and all the information that we're providing, all the knowledge that we're providing in energy in order to help you really tap into the beautiful creative capacity, the limitless, timeless capacity of who you are, because it's all within you. With that said, hit subscribe, hit like, and yeah, I hope I see you till the next video.